we focused on the students, also the superintendent, governance. Now the question is about you all. If you're elected, how will you know if you are being an effective board member individually and as a whole body? And if you believe that you are not being effective, then how will you collaborate with your fellow board members to change course? Marcia, you'll go first.
Thank you. Well, as board members, we are all tasked with being leaders, and leadership is merely just influence. And so I would know if I were effective if I am in discussions and sharing ideas and listening to ideas from my fellow board members, and I am contributing to a goal that's going to be effective and productive. And so, if we're doing those things, if I'm behaving that way, then I would feel that I was being affected. I don't have to have the last say. I don't have to have the only answer. But I think one of the strengths I do bring to the table is the ability to listen, to synthesize the answers and the things I'm hearing, and help bring the group to a common conclusion. And so if I'm not being effective, then I would expect my fellow board members to pull me to the side and tell me and share with me the behaviors that I need to examine in order to course correct. And I think we owe that to each other so that we're doing our best, we're bringing our best selves to the table in order to work together, that we're bringing our best selves together on behalf of our children. So I would hope to get that feedback, and I would receive that feedback, and I would hope that my fellow board members would receive that feedback as well.
Thank you for sharing. Jim?
Yeah, thank you. The I feel very blessed to be on the board, and I really like all the board members that I work with. And what I think one of the benefits of why that has happened is everybody's heart is in the right place. Everybody wants to do the best we can to have the best student outcomes we can get. So I try to have good relationship with everybody as best I can. I think if you've observed me in a lot of board meetings, I tend not to speak so much. I'm a very good listener, and I try to be very efficient in what I have to say and concise. And it's mostly because I want to listen and hear what my other board members have to say. And I think that's an important part of collaboration. Uh, I like to think that all of us have a chance to participate in our board meetings and share our ideas. Um, I'm open to collaboration on anything, anytime, and just it's an honor to serve. And I think we've got some really good people on our board now, and it's just a lot of good, diverse brain power to help come to the best decisions we can regarding policy, the budget, and helping the superintendent and the treasurer. So thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Jim. Brandon?
So I think this is a good question for a unique reason. I think when you go into a board, you're not always going to agree. You're not always going to feel the opinions of your other board members are driving towards the right direction that you think the district should move into. And that can be very challenging as an individual because for that individual, you want to see a goal achieved. And I think that's the point of being on a board is that we are not seven people who all get to pick where we go. We are seven people who have to work together to get the district to move to where it needs to go. And that's what I really think shows you're a successful board member is when you're able to use your skills, your talents, and your ability to drive the district in a direction that improves it. I worked really hard when we were making the changes to the district with regards to putting in middle schools to make sure that we were having good discussions about it so that the public also understood where those challenges might be, where those things that we may have questions that need to be answered may happen. That was not moving necessarily in the direction that I was pushing, but I wanted to make sure that my voice was still heard and that we still had people's voices who may have those concerns addressed in the conversation. And I think that's the only way you can work collaboratively with the rest of your board is if you all are willing to hear each other out and willing to have the time and space for those honest conversations. That's what we did, and that's what we continue to do, and that's what will continue to do in the future. But that really starts with us being respectful of each other.
Thank you, Brandon. Harry?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of people in my life that will be willing to tell me if I'm not being an effective board member. But I think for me personally, my measure of success will be if I can have a productive, even potentially tense conversations with my colleagues that result in us being able to come back the next day with respect and kindness, right? Because we've built a relationship of trust that we know if we disagree on an issue, we can talk through it, come to whatever the conclusion is, and have the same respect for each other the next day because I presented myself in a way that maintains that respect that they have for me. Because I do think that's the most effective way to govern is to be able to communicate in a way and advocate in a way that's not going to make people lose respect for you. And I think as far as the board as a whole, I think if we see progress in the district on outcomes, on staff and culture improvement, on all these different metrics that we're looking at each and every year frequently, that's how we'll know if we're being effective. Because if we're not seeing movement on those issues, then clearly we need to rethink what we're doing. But yeah, I think maintaining professional things and like I said, many people in my life will tell me if I'm not.
Thank you for sharing, Carrie. Kareem?
So when I first got on the board, I was super eager and I thought I knew exactly what I was doing. And it became very clear that how there was a difference between application and theory. And so in reality, I have grown as a board member because I have learned not only what my role is, but how I fit within the wheel of the seven. I've come with I know what my why is. I want to impact change. I want to impact education in Cincinnati. But it's also about you reading the bylaws, knowing what the state laws are and the state rules and regulations are around what the role of what the responsibility and the role of a board member is. I think that I've said this that we are like seven brothers and sisters, and mom and dad is the district, and we want the best for mom and dad in our own way, but we may come at that in different ways. I have learned to grow and be more respectful of my colleagues and value the diversity and the voices that they bring to the table and provide space for that. And I think we've gotten a really great sync. I kind of know where some of my colleagues are going to come from. They're going to bring up something that I don't have to bring up because they're going to bring up. You learn those things as you are open to growing. And that's what I've been able to do is to grow. It's really about understanding your why and then learning, being able to remain true to you while also educating the community about what the role of a board member is too.
Thank you, Kareem.